So, this Sunday was Backlash, the very first SmackDown Live pay-per-view. It was exclusive just to SmackDown Live. Um, you might recognize the name. They've been using like names from previous like pay-per-views, but made them just a brand pay-per-view. Backlash started with a memorial to 9/11 because it was during 9/11 that show happened. So it was just a text memory of the lives lost in 9/11. Backlash was in Richmond, Virginia, and we start with Shane McMahon and Daniel O'Brien coming into the ring to introduce the first match, and the crowd loves those two. They really do. And the first match is the 6-pack women elimination match for the new WWE SmackDown Live Women's Champion for the new title. So, if you remember, the women involved in a match were Becky, Natalia, Alexa, Naomi, Carmella, and Nikki Bella. Those were the 6 women that were in this match. And one thing, I'm only going to say one thing about the entrances, is that Alexa Bliss tried to be Harley Quinn with the 2 pigtails, the red and blue kind of thing that she had going on. She tried to be Harley Quinn, trying to imitate like the look of Harley Quinn. So the match goes on, and the crowd is actually into it. It's not like we've seen in the past WWE shows, both Raw, SmackDown. The crowd is into it. Bliss kind of spends the entire match being a brat. I don't know. But not taking too long into it, Bliss is the first to be eliminated by Naomi. Then right after that, it's like the eliminations came one after the other after the first one happened. The second to be eliminated was Naomi by Natalia. Natalia was the third to be eliminated by Nikki Bella. Nikki was eliminated by Carmella, but before she left the ring, she like slapped Carmella right across the face really hard before she left. So she left a statement before leaving. And so it ended up being Carmella versus Becky. The crowd is completely on board with Becky, and Becky wins. Hooray! Becky is the very first WWE SmackDown Live Women's Champion. And I don't know if it is because the name is McMahon, which it goes to Irish, Scottish kind of like ancestry, that this is the second Irish to win a very first like title. We have Becky was the very first SmackDown Live Women's Champion, and we had Balor, which was the very first WWE Universal Champion. So 2 Irish to win for the very first time big titles. After the match, we have some moments. We have a moment with Miz, and we have a moment with Bray Wyatt. If you recall, Bray Wyatt is supposed to face, or was supposed to face, Randy Orton at Backlash. And we go backstage and Bray Wyatt is attacking Randy Orton, and particularly attacking his leg. He shoves like Randy's leg into not into a door, kind of. So no one really knows if Randy's it's at that point if Randy is going to compete or not. It's all in a question, but that match is later on. Then we come to one of the semifinals of the tournament for the new SmackDown Live tag team titles. So we have the Usos and the iPros. The Usos who had turned heel, they don't do the entrance that they normally did. The High Pros, they had it from the beginning, and they were like dominating the match for most of the time, but the Usos managed to win, so they went to the finals to face Slater and Rhino for the tag team titles. Match starts, and kind of like halfway through, then we come to Dolph versus Miz, and before Miz gets to the ring, he's outside, he's talking smack to Daniel that he wants to renegotiate his contract because he doesn't feel respected in SmackDown. So Ziggler took kind of a bad hit. He might have hurt his shoulder, and he kind of pains him throughout the rest of the match. But he literally almost got it if it wasn't for an outside intervention, which was Maurice, Mrs. Wife, that sprayed something into Dolph's face, and Miz wins and retains his title. So overall, it was a good match. It was kind of an even match. We actually saw Miz truly wrestling, so it was a good match overall. Then we come to Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. So that match doesn't exactly happen because the doctors said that Randy couldn't compete that night. So he's counted out, and technically Bray wins that match. But that isn't the end of it, because we get the Demon King outside and a new match, a no holds barred match between Bray Wyatt and the Demon King. It was a really good match. Like, there was a chair around. They destroyed the... Was it them? Was it that? Now I'm confused. Was it them or was it AJ and Dean Ambrose? Now I can't remember if it was on that match or if it was... But I think it was on that match that destroyed the Spanish commentators table. The match goes on. Kane feels like he's about to lose, and surprise, surprise, Randy Orton shows up. And because it's a no holds barred match, there's no disqualifications, there's no countouts. Pinned or submission is the only way to win that match. And Randy goes to the ring and RKO's Bray Wyatt. And then Kane chokeslams Bray Wyatt. And Kane wins. It was a good match. It was taking the history of those two characters. It was probably a long time coming, I guess. So yeah, it was good. Then we come back to the finals of the tag team tournament with the Usos versus Slater and Rhino. Now the Usos, they kind of dominated from the beginning. We have like a long period of time where Slater's completely been like punished almost. And you have to remember that if Slater and Rhino won the titles, Slater would get a contract with SmackDown. He was a free agent. He wasn't drafted for either brand, so he got a shot here. So at the end, there was a little bit of a mess. Like everyone is kind of fighting each other, and the referee is trying to handle one thing, and Rhino like gores one of the Usos, the legal Uso, I have to say, behind the official's back, and Slater and Rhino win. And everyone is kind of like happy that those two win. I don't know. People are enjoying Slater. I don't know. I haven't formed my opinion on that one. Then we come to the WWE World title between AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose. This match, like, AJ dominated this match for quite a long time, but Dean kind of managed to turn it around some of the times. But then in one of the moves, like, Dean like hits the referee without meaning it, and AJ noticed that, and he takes that opportunity to kick Dean in the balls again. He did that like last week on SmackDown. The referee doesn't see it. AJ pins him, and he wins the title. Yeah. I think tonight on SmackDown, Dean is not gonna be very happy. So he's probably gonna be gunning for AJ. So we have to see what happens on SmackDown. But and that was it. But overall, the pay-per-view was good. I think it was better than SummerSlam, the past one. This one was the first SmackDown Live pay-per-view, exclusive pay-per-view. So I guess we have to see what happens with Clash of Champions, which is in 2 weeks. We have to see what happens then. One thing, I don't know, one criticism that I have to say is that in pretty much every single match, you could hear the wrestlers like planning out the moves. I don't know if it was because the cameras were too close, where you could hear them like planning the moves, like through some of the matches. You could hear them like clearly, like saying what was going to happen next. So yeah, that was for Backlash. Sunday, on Sunday. So we come to Monday Night Raw, which was yesterday in Baltimore, which is possibly not one of the easiest. Yeah, so Baltimore is not one of the easiest like crowds to please. So the show starts with Mick Foley in the ring. He calls out Charlotte, and there's like a little clash like between Charlotte and Dana. Um, but then Sasha comes along because she technically has the rematch clause of her title. But then they're like talking smack to each other, and then Bayley comes out because Bayley beat Charlotte last week on Raw. There's a little bit more talking smack and things like that. And Dana snaps and slaps Charlotte in the face. So Foley decides to make a triple threat match that night between Dana, Sasha, and Bayley, and the winner would face Charlotte in Clash of Champions for the WWE Women's title. So that match was straight after that. Sasha and Bayley tried to get rid of Dana at the beginning, just to be the two of them. And it was just the two of them until the commercial came along. Then Sasha was put on the side for a little while. Then it was Dana and Bayley. Then Bayley was kicked to the side. Sasha comes along, does a bank statement to Dana, while to which Bayley breaks it up, and Sasha after a while pins Bayley, and Sasha wins, and Sasha is the one that's going to face Charlotte in Clash of Champions. That match was quite an even match between the three. The crowd was into it compared to the past, like Monday Night Raw. This crowd was good. They were into the matches. They were into the show. Then we go backstage. There's a challenge from Enzo to what's his name? The guy from Shining Stars, Epico? Is that his name? Then an interview with Kevin Owens that has a match against Roman Reigns that night. Then Jericho comes along. He's complaining that Foley took Kevin out of the highlight reel, so he had to find someone else. And he decided to call Sami Zayn. Why not? There's absolutely nothing wrong could come from that, right? Absolutely nothing wrong could come from that. Then right after that, we come to the highlight reel. Jericho is talking smack about Sami. Sami kind of brings the past of Jericho and how good he was before he turned into what he was, or what he is now. And Jericho kind of hits him in the head with his phone and attacks him. Like, did you expect anything else to happen from then? I didn't. So, the next match is between Bo Dallas and Brandon Scott. I have no idea who Brandon Scott is. I'm sorry. But This one, the crowd doesn't really care. Bo Dallas throws some rhymes, which is odd. And the match also doesn't last very long. And Bo Dallas wins. That one, I think, was just to fill time, I guess. Oh, and I'm sorry, I kind of got it wrong. The highlight reel was after this match with Bo Dallas. Sorry, kind of got it wrong. After the highlight reel is the 5th match of the best of 7 between Cesaro and Sheamus. If you don't know, Cesaro won one match in the O2 in London against Sheamus. So score was 3-1 on this match. So the match starts, Cesaro is kind of dominating from the beginning, tides turn a lot of times, but this one was more exciting than the previous ones, and the crowd was really into it. I don't know, this crowd was good today. That one was a very good crowd, but Cesaro still has like his back taped, and it works against him a few times. He tried to do his Cesaro swing, but he couldn't swing Sheamus because of his back gave out. But yeah, but with some difficulty and with a little bit of luck and being far from the official's point of view, Cesaro wins. When I say being far away from the referee, it's because he used the bottom rope to not let Sheamus like kick out. So for now, the score is 3-2. If Sheamus wins the next one, it's done. So Cesaro has a lot of pressure on his side because he has to win the next 2 matches to get a shot at a title. He has to. So end of this match, there's a little chat. I go backstage, there's a chat between Foley and Rollins. Rollins is questioning the integrity of Foley. Foley just says, don't mess up this match between Owens and Reigns. You don't want to do that. And after that we got the announcement that Sami Zayn is going to face Chris Jericho at Clash of Champions. We got Alicia Fox versus Nia Jax. From the previous week, the other wrestler that fought Nia was a friend of Alicia, and she went a little crazy. Just a little. But yeah. The match didn't go very well for Alicia. She was thrown around like a rag doll, and she got speared through a barricade. So it didn't end very well for Alicia, that's for sure. Then we the New Day kind of talking about what happened last week with Gallows and Anderson and all that. Of course, then they show up, obviously, and then there's a match between Gallows and Anderson and Kofi and Xavier. It's that match wasn't an even match. There was tides kind of went back and forth a lot. Uh, Gallows and Anderson kind of kept Kofi away from Xavier for a lot of the match, and that kind of worked. But when Xavier kind of managed to get into to the to the ring, he changed the tides, but it didn't really work a lot because Gallows and Anderson ended up winning. So if they continue with that strategy that they had this Monday, they might win the tag team titles at Clash of Champions. Who knows? Through another backstage moment with Roman. A little tiny thing about Roman. He's been forgetting to put his blue contacts. If you didn't know, Roman Reigns' natural eye color is not blue. It's actually brown. So, if you thought that his eyes were blue, sorry. But lately he has been forgetting to put them on. It's not the first time that in the backstage like interview or something like that it shows up with no contacts on. And sometimes in the ring, he has them on, but which is odd. But yeah, he's been forgetting to put them on. I don't know if it's something like he's not gonna do the contacts anymore. I don't know. So we come to Jinder Mahal versus Jack Swagger. I know Jack Swagger. I don't know much about Jinder Mahal, but I guess he was in WWE before his change, his, I don't know, character. He's very peaceful, he's very namaste. And Swagger, he also has been out of the picture for a while, and apparently his contract with Raw is also about to expire. So this match wasn't very good for him because Jinder won the match. So who knows what the future of Jack Swagger has to hold for him. I don't know. Then we come to Enter Amore and Epico. It was, well, I think it was also to like fill time, I guess, that one. Epico ended up winning, even though he kind of cheated to win. Kind of. Because his partner held Enzo's feet when Epico was pinning him to the ground. So one thing about tonight's Monday Night Raw is that no Strowman. Yay! We don't have to see 5 minutes of him completely destroying someone who's half his size. Hooray! That's good. I like that. So we come to the main event, Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. I have to say about one thing about the entrance of Roman Reigns. I preferred the one when he came from like the crowd. I used to prefer that one. This one is kind of boring. Sorry. Sorry. But yeah. But the fight kind of starts outside because Kevin, as soon as the bell rings, it comes outside. So fight starts there, and the referee has a slow ass count. Like we have like there was almost like felt like almost a minute. It was on 6 to call out a 7 on the count out. Like there was a huge gap of time there. Kevin gets a chin lock to kind of like wear down Roman, and he does it twice. So there was also very like shots to the posts, to the barricades, to the steel steps. They went around. They did. But obviously Rollins is bound to show up, and he did. He attacks Owens. The referee calls for the bell. Owens kind of wins. Then there's like this whole match with security to separate Rollins from Owens. Foley comes out. He threatens, not threatens, but he's like, there's consequences to what you just did. And I guess we're gonna find those consequences next Monday? Maybe? I don't know. So, because the match was like called off because of outside interference, Foley decides to restart the match. The two men are visibly exhausted. But the match goes on. The crowd is into it. I think the match got really, really good after the restart. There was a little moment that the referee didn't see. That was Owens was at the top rope, or sitting at the top rope. Roman went at him, I think maybe to do a super suplex, maybe. And Owens bites him. Quite literally. The match goes on, and out of nowhere, Rusev shows up. Rusev has a bone to pick with Roman. And but Roman sees him coming. A Superman punches Rusev, but that caused a distraction that led Owens to win. So technically, the match at Clash of Champions is a one-on-one match between himself and Seth Rollins. So far, we don't know what is going to happen, but after that, Rusev just kind of beats down Reigns, and he ends up doing the accolade until the referee like steps in and pushes him off, and that's how Raw ended. Compared to last week, this Monday Night Raw was much better. But now the questions that we have for next week is what is going to happen to Seth, what is Foley going to say to Seth, what is Roman, what is going to happen to Roman as well, because of Rusev and all that, because for now Roman is out of the Clash of Champions for now. So we don't know what's going to happen. There's also the question of Triple H. Triple H didn't show up to explain himself last week. He didn't show it to explain himself this week either. Is he going to ever show? Is he going to show up at Clash of Champions? We don't have answers to that either. So I guess we have to wait and see what's going to happen in those cases. But yeah, so that is it for what happened in Backlash and Monday Night Raw. I'm not sure if I'm going to do SmackDown because tomorrow I can't shoot the video, and next week I'm not gonna be home. I'm going on vacation next week. So yeah, I don't know when the next video it's going to be up for now.